Calgary-Lougheed.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. I've been really looking forward to making this speech for exactly 2 weeks, as a matter of fact, as you know. And I would really like to start by thanking my honourable colleague, the MLA for Calgary-Hayes. I think the whole province has stood up and taken notice that this is a very insightful motion that he's spearheading. And what he's really trying to do, along with so many other students and parents across this province, is simply to reaffirm the government's commitment to one of the most fundamental strengths of Alberta's education system. And that, of course, is the variety of choice that is offered to each and every child and parent in this incredible province of ours. Now, Mr. Speaker, I won't ever forget many years ago when I read in Maclean's magazine, and by the way, whether you do or don't like Maclean's magazine, where you do or don't think it's too far to the left, it doesn't matter. They admitted that Alberta had built the best educational system by far in this country, precisely because of the choice that other members have already referred to. And I can appreciate that, not only as someone who's been through the system, like the Education Minister had mentioned that he had been through the system as well, not only in my current role as an advocate for advanced education, not only for being a parent of two who are in the school system at the moment, but also as a former educator, like some of the other folks in this House. And my humble career, it did span over a decade. I worked in 3 countries, from kindergarten to university, in many different facets of educational delivery. Some of the best years of my life I will treasure forever: the students, the parents, members of the community that I met, the incredible gains that were had. And I never actually referred to myself as a teacher, but as a facilitator, and I learned incredible amounts. I got a bit of grief from some of the teachers I used to teach with a few years ago for, well, a number of things, as you might expect, Mr. Speaker, but one of them was for a bumper sticker on my car. It simply stated, "Don't let school get in the way of your education." They kind of thought maybe I was taking a swipe at my own public school system. Of course I wasn't. Incredible things happened within that public school, within the bricks and mortar. But I made a great effort, with a lot of help from parents and some teachers and many students, to take them far beyond the walls of that school to learn in ways that go beyond what we can find in a traditional classroom. And I can tell you the gains were absolutely invaluable, and to this day, students tell me how it's changed their life and their communities close and far around the world. Maybe that started when I was earning my Bachelor of Education After degree, when I had a professor who did not put his own kids in a public school system. That's right, he was a professor at an educational institution, a university, the College of Education, teaching students how to be teachers, and he was saying he did not send his own kids to school. So you can imagine how unpopular he might be amongst his colleagues. And he asked us, as students at that time, he said, "So, I'm guessing a whole bunch of you are wondering why you should listen to a word I say, let alone whether my kids are social misfits or academic laggards. I dare you to call them." So I did. I was the only one in the whole class. I talked to them. And I could not believe the list of accomplishments on the social side of things for each one of those kids that he had was as long as one arm, and what they had done academically and beyond was as long as the other arm. And so the fact is, Mr. Speaker, it's been proven through these examples and so many more right across Alberta that not all children have the same needs, and that's why it's important to offer these different modes of education. Some choose francophone education because of cultural or identity needs, and our system is set up to protect rights that are enshrined in the Constitution. Some children require different or enhanced educational programs that are more tailored to their and their family's educational goals, and our system does make that happen. We've got 13 operational charter schools across the province, as an example, Mr. Speaker, including in our home constituency of Calgary-Lougheed. I am absolutely blown away every time I meet those students, whether it's in the school or beyond, with what they've done in the school and beyond. Now, some children achieve their best choice in educational environments through home or even blended options. Our system has that ability for parents to assume direct responsibility for the education of their children and their work as partners within school boards. And you know, if you don't want to take my word for it, please take the word as written in by Mihaela. She wrote in to me after she saw what happened here 2 weeks ago. She writes, "I'm a grade 12 student who would like to speak to supporting choice in education. Even though I'm graduating this year, your decision will have an effect on so many children's intellectual, creative, and emotional well-being, and I care about that. I was in a public school setting until the second half of grade 5, when my family and I made the decision to homeschool. I'll be honest with you and say that by October of my grade 5 year, I was suddenly struggling to learn math and failing to comprehend science and losing my love of learning. My family and I looked at all the options available in Alberta and decided to try the Alberta curriculum through a homeschooling center, which also allowed us the opportunity to travel and later learn online. Now, you guessed it, I started homeschooling and my grades skyrocketed. In this method of schooling, I was able to learn my own style and understand my own habits. If I had a passion for something, I could explore it fully. And if I didn't understand something, I could look into and research it, find mentors, and learn. It may be hard for you to understand my personal journey, Mr. Speaker," she writes, "but let me give you some highlighted examples of what I've accomplished thanks to homeschooling in Alberta. I created my own clean water filtration system, volunteered at the Calgary Clean Water Organization, created my own student group to create awareness on water issues, won the University of Calgary's Faculty Women's Club Award for Outstanding Science Fair Achievement, and competed in a national-level science fair, all before the age of 14. Last year, I was named one of Alberta's top 30 under 30 by the Alberta Council for Global Cooperation for my continued work in water sanitation and awareness. This year alone, I've been named class valedictorian, and I was asked to guest speak at the Centre for Global Education's event." She hasn't even finished grade 12 yet, Mr. Speaker. She goes on, "I relayed my experience and advice to over 1,000 motivated students via a continent-wide internet webinar. Do you know, Mr. Speaker, that there is very little opportunity in a school setting for kids to work on special projects and express her ideas beyond the curriculum? I now know that had I been within the bricks and mortar school system, my ideas and interests would have been assimilated into the conformities of a unified learning style. It's important for everyone to recognize that not every child or adult learns in the same way. We're all different individuals, and what I love about Alberta is that we accept and encourage diversity. The idea of tearing away a learning opportunity to express one's interests and ideas goes against the values of Albertans. Collectivizing the school system would only create a weaker province." She goes on, Mr. Speaker, "I was looking up examples of learning conformity on a global scale when I realized that this has actually happened before in Canada. Decades ago, government tried to create a uniform schooling system. It resulted in assimilation and near eradication of a culture. This is an issue we're still having to address and reconcile today, and in this age of diversity and acceptance, I find it hard to believe that government would make the same mistake. I am, of course, referencing residential schools. We're taught in the Alberta curriculum how horrible that conformity was and how our government is now taking steps forward to encourage diversity. Let this government not make the same mistakes and assume that every child is the same, nor learns the same. My 18 years of life has taught me to learn from my mistakes and adapt to change and embrace new forms of learning. It's my hope the Alberta government does the same and chooses to take steps forward in educational opportunities rather than backwards." Mr. Speaker, I can tell you that Mihaela is being actually extremely shy and humble. She's done far more things than what she listed on the world stage, both as a person learning and as an educator, before even achieving the age of majority. And she would claim, and her parents would too, precisely because she's homeschooled. Now, Mr. Speaker, I truly wish that we were allotted much more time. I've had many dozens of letters along these lines, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages I'd like to read to you, but I have 20 seconds left. I will end with this. We have one of the most globally renowned K-12 systems. Motion 504 will tell Albertans this government is serious about upholding the system we have and is serious about providing diversity in the delivery of education. So I urge all members to support this motion and the strong diversity and innovative system upon which Alberta's education is built. So there's my time, and I thank you for it.